I think football's the weirdest game in the world. Weirdest game. It's the best game in the world, but it's also the weirdest game. And to back that statement up, I'm going to need you to do a little exercise with me. So, and it's a tough exercise because you don't want to have to think about this again. But just cast your mind back to like the 20th minute of the derby and how you felt and what you felt about that Everton side and what you were seeing from that Everton side in that game. A game where Jurgen Klopp had made 5 changes and we were utterly woeful and inept. And all the kind of cliche things that you can mention in terms of a bad performance from your team in the biggest game, one of the biggest games of the season, right? And then think about what we witnessed. Bring yourself back into the room and think about what we witnessed against Chelsea, and then think about what we saw today if you saw the match. And it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it does intuitively in the sense that we know why. We've got a different manager now, and a manager who obviously can kind of bring something out of this group. They like him, they want to play for him. The passion that he has obviously just kind of drives them on. They say this, by the way, it's not just an observation I've made. They say this. Dominic Calvert-Lewin said this last week. A couple of the other boys, I think Michael Kean said something similar in terms of they like Duncan. His passion is contagious, and therefore it drives them on, which is great. But also, you know, the guy obviously has some ideas. The way that he set Everton up today was smart, and he obviously knows what he's doing. But it's incredible to me the difference in this Everton team, this manifestation of this Everton team, which is relatively the same personnel, arguably weaker. You know, I say that, no Gylfi Sigurdsson today, no Morgan Schneiderlin today. But we've come away with a draw now at Old Trafford. We won last week, and that's 4 points from 2 games, and all of a sudden things look slightly different. On the game today, Mason Holgate, if you haven't seen it yet, had to play in centre midfield and was asked to do a job there, a role that he's obviously not comfortable with. It's not a position that I'm aware of that he's played before. Some of you who, you know, maybe play a bit of Football Manager can tell me if, you know, when you go on the screen and you've got it shows you where players can potentially play. I vaguely remember the days when I used to have time to play Football Manager. Now I've got responsibilities and I can't seem to find the time to do it. But it used to show you where they could play. I don't know if Mason Holgate can play in centre midfield, as a rule, but he played there today. And it's ironic because, you know, Old Trafford's the home of Paul Scholes, one of the greatest midfielders of the Premier League era. Mason Holgate went there today and put in a Paul Scholes-esque performance to a certain extent. So that was great. Just want to quickly pick up on something with regards to Jordan Pickford, who did pull off some really important saves for us today. But his distribution is really bad. And I'm not sure. This was always a thing with him when we signed him. His distribution's great. And sometimes we see it. Yeah, sometimes he puts a ball in a decent area. But a lot of the times, it seems to go out of play. And it's just sloppy. But again, you know, he did pull off some really good saves today. Our goal, by the way, David De Gea, if you use Twitter as David De Gea, he has tweeted a screenshot of the goal, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's arms in De Gea's face. It's quite funny, really, because he's done it to kind of say to the rest of the world that shouldn't have been a goal. VAR should have overruled it. The irony of it is the picture for me just looks like he's a pussy, because he's like this. And I've never been a goalkeeper, but I remember kind of listening to what the coach used to say to the goalkeeper, and it was always be brave. As a goalkeeper, you need to be brave. I thankfully have been graced with the presence of Neville Southall, who was a very brave and very good goalkeeper, as we all know. David De Gea isn't brave in that situation, and what he's hoping is that VAR gets him out of jail. It didn't today. The ball goes over the top and it hits Lindelof or McTominay. Lindelof, I think, goes into the back of the net, and Everton are 1-0 ahead. And if you'd have asked me then, if you'd have said to me, if you were sitting with me watching the match and you said, Ad, how do you think this game's going to go? I'd have probably said we'd have won the game. I probably would have predicted then that we were going to go on and win the game. Because it just felt like one of them days, and unfortunately we didn't. The young lad Mason Greenwood hit a terrific shot. Technique was brilliant in the second half, late on into the second half, and he just found that little pocket down to Pickford's left, put it through Yerry Mina's legs. It was an exceptional goal. Now, this is one of the things that I want you to let me know underneath. For me, there's nothing that Everton can do about that, because that's just really, really good football. And I think sometimes as football fans, we need to remember that sometimes the opposition have very talented footballers, and it was just a really good goal. A couple of other things. Leighton Baines came on today for Luca Dean, thrown in, dealt with the lad they signed from Swansea really, really well. He's got so much pace, that kid. Leighton Baines, again, probably, again, this is something that maybe come with maturity, but knew that and allowed himself to give himself a couple of yards in certain situations. And it was great to see him playing for Everton again and putting in a stellar performance like he did. For me, Leighton Baines is one of them lads where, similar to Tim Cahill and to Phil Jagielka to maybe a lesser extent, but they're players that I really wish they'd win a trophy with us. I wish any player wins a trophy with us, but you know what I mean. Like, there's just something about Leighton Baines. He is Everton, and I hope that he can sign his Everton career off with a trophy. What else happened? What else happened? Moise Kean came on and was brought off. This was late in the game again. Duncan made the change. He came on and then was hooked off again about 14 minutes later, something like that, and his performance wasn't great. I think the couple of things about this was it's a raging debate on Twitter at the moment, and how can I approach it? It's hard because ultimately he evidently wasn't up to speed, and it depends on who you speak to. People who were at the game maybe took a slightly different perspective on it, because they could see Duncan screaming at him, telling him to get back in. But from just watching it on the telly, there was one clip where he was kind of he hadn't been on long and he looked knackered. We had a corner and he had his hands on his hips and he looked tired. And apparently, there was a couple of other occasions when he did give away a couple of awkward fouls as well in positions that you don't want to give fouls away in. And it was a pretty poor performance for him when he entered the pitch. So he was taken off. Oumar Niasse came on, which again is strange seeing Oumar Niasse in an Everton shirt. And Duncan kind of doesn't say anything to him as he comes off, and he walks straight past him and walks straight down the tunnel. For me, if Duncan feels like he's a liability and he's made the wrong decision, then take him off. I've got nothing wrong with that. But it's the whole thing around the kind of freezing him out as he walks past him. Like, I just feel like you probably should say, "Look, man, that wasn't good enough," or whatever. We'll speak when we get back in the change rooms. Off you go. But the fact that he just blanked him, and then there's a few slightly contradictory statements that Duncan's given to the press since, and that's not good. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. I'd love to know your thoughts on that, so leave them underneath in the comment section. Look, I've done 8 minutes. I've rambled on for 8 minutes. There was a lot to talk about in this game. Just before you go, fan ales, you can buy these online, order before the 18th of December to ensure Christmas delivery. They're Everton themed beer gift packs. You buy them from fanales.co.uk and I will send them straight to your door ahead of Christmas. So as always, thank you for watching, Grand Old Team. Let us know your comments in the comments section underneath. Remember to like, share and subscribe. And as always, I'm Adam Parsington. See you again next time.